Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Look, if you're tuning in, you already know that actually understanding your organization's data is the difference between thriving and merely surviving, or, at least the difference between a great board meeting and a really terrible one. But today we're looking at a specific metric that so often gets lost in the noise, even though it literally holds the key to your company's future stability. Okay, let's dive into this. Today, we are completely unpacking the concept of level-wise attrition. We're going to break down exactly how you take this massive, intimidating monolith of a number, your total organizational attrition, and drill down into it to find out exactly where your organization is bleeding talent. So here's the million-dollar question, right? Which level had the highest drain of talent? I want you to really think about that phrasing for a second. It's not just asking who left, it's asking where the drain is. A drain implies this continuous, damaging loss of a vital resource. If you only glance at your overall turnover rate, you might think, hey, everything is fine. But just beneath that surface, you could literally be hemorrhaging your most crucial mid-level managers, or maybe your senior leadership is quietly exiting out the back door. This question is the entire reason we do this analysis. It's the compass that guides your whole HR and executive strategy. All right, Section 1, defining total level-wise attrition. So the baseline definition here is actually remarkably clear. Level-wise attrition is the total attrition of the organization, categorized by organizational band or level. But what does that actually mean in the real world? Well, a lot of organizations look at total attrition as a monolith, a single giant block of data. Let's say your company has a 10% attrition rate. As a monolith, that number tells you absolutely nothing actionable. It's just a blunt instrument. What this definition asks us to do is to take that monolith and systematically smash it apart. By defining attrition strictly through the lens of organizational bands, we immediately shift from staring at a vague symptom to diagnosing a highly specific structural issue. Moving right along to Section 2, categorizing by organizational band. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what we're talking about. Imagine your total attrition as a massive donut chart. Instead of just staring at the whole thing, we slice it up into conceptual pieces. Level 1, Level 2, and Level 3. So these could represent your entry-level employees, your middle management, and your executive tier. By categorizing the data this way, we suddenly give the numbers real context. A massive slice of turnover in Level 1 means something completely different operationally than a massive slice in Level 2. I mean, the sudden exit of a vital middle manager can mean losing decades of unwritten institutional knowledge overnight. Categorization is absolutely crucial. Without these slices, honestly, you're just guessing. But wait, simply grouping your folks into these slices, that's not the end of the road. We have to actively calculate. We can't just casually observe that one group looks a little smaller than it used to. No way. We need mathematical precision here. We have to formulate specific ratios for each distinct band to truly compare apples to apples across the entire organization. Which brings us to Section 3, calculating overtime intervals. Okay, let's see how this builds our understanding. We look at these ratios across 3 very specific intervals: monthly, quarterly, and yearly. Now, why those 3? Because talent drain does not happen in a vacuum, and it definitely doesn't happen at a uniform speed. Calculating a monthly ratio, that lets you spot immediate shocks. Like, did a new policy last month cause a sudden exodus in middle management? Then your quarterly ratio helps you identify seasonal trends, or maybe the delayed impact of a restructuring. And the yearly ratio? That gives you the macro view, the undeniable, long-term reality of your organizational health. You really need all 3 points on this timeline to understand not just where the attrition is happening, but how fast it's accelerating. And finally, Section 4, identifying the talent drain. I want to pause here for a second and focus entirely on this exact phrase, the highest drain of talent. It's stark, isn't it? It is totally unforgiving. Once you've correctly categorized your organizational bands and you've calculated those monthly, quarterly, and yearly ratios, this is the harsh reality these metrics are designed to expose. You aren't just looking for turnover anymore. You are hunting for the highest drain. You're looking for that specific structural failure point where your company's knowledge, experience, and momentum are just leaking out the fastest. Now, what's really interesting about this is how visually undeniable the problem becomes. When you plot your calculated ratios by level, the highest drain of talent instantly reveals itself. See that one towering spike? That is a blaring alarm. It cuts right through all the vague noise about company culture and points a laser directly at a specific tier of your workforce. It tells leadership exactly where they need to intervene, investigate, and invest resources to plug the leak before the entire structure gets compromised.
So the really crucial point here is how elegantly simple yet deeply effective this methodology actually is. Let's synthesize this whole analytical drill down we've just covered. Number 1, start with your total attrition, but acknowledge it as a starting line, not the finish line. Number 2, categorize that data by organizational band or level, basically slicing up the monolith. Number 3, rigorously calculate the ratio across your monthly, quarterly, and yearly intervals to understand the momentum of the loss. And finally, number 4, use all those insights to identify the highest talent drain. This structured approach is absolutely vital. It literally transforms HR from a reactive administrative function into a proactive strategic powerhouse.
All right, we've unpacked the methodology. We've seen how tracking these ratios across time transforms raw data into a laser-targeted diagnosis. But, all this information is totally useless if it just stays theoretical. So I want to leave you with a direct challenge right now, based on the framework we just explored. Look at your own teams. Look at your own company. Do you know which organizational band has the highest drain of talent right now? And if you don't, well, isn't it time you ran the numbers to find out?